Hello everyone and welcome back to 77 Questions with Chesa. This month is extra special because we have the CEO of Chesa Dental Care, Dr. Anju, here with us. So let's get started. Where are you originally from?
I'm basically from Mumbai.
Were you born in Mumbai?
No, I was born in Ranchi and then came over to Mumbai.
How many years did you live in the city of dreams and one thing you miss the most about Mumbai?
I think I have lived there for almost 29 years, and one thing that I miss about Mumbai is the speed of life.
Favorite hangout place and street food of Mumbai?
I remember the Elko market and the pani puris and dahi papdi chaats. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your home as a child.
As a child, my home was very disciplined and a warm environment. My father was working at BRC and my mom was a school teacher. So both of them in service, and we had a very disciplined and being on time and a very warm environment.
Growing up, were you a shy child or a naughty child?
I was neither shy nor naughty. I think I was a fun-loving child, an outgoing child. And since I was the middle child, I was, doing the balancing for a lot of things.
Most memorable childhood moment with your siblings?
We've had some real wonderful holidays together because Dad was in job and we made it a point to have good holidays in Kashmir and even visits to our hometown. And I remember an incident when my brother participated in a Camlin painting competition and I did the painting for him and he won the first prize.
Tell us about your parents.
My dad is a very strong-minded, a very intelligent and a balanced personality. He is an extremely confident and a very practical person. My mom has been a very religious, social being, very warm at heart and very giving.
Favorite quality about each parent?
About my mom, I love her open-heartedness. She's been a very warm personality. And about my dad, he's a very intelligent and a person of values. He doesn't get influenced by religious things or any make-believe things. He's a very, very practical person.
Tell us a little more about your bond with your mother.
My mom and me, although this goes so many years back, I think we shared a very warm equation between us. I loved speaking to her and I spoke my heart out to her. I remember the times when I would just come back from school and jump over onto the kitchen slab and talk to her endlessly, and so patiently she heard me out, and she enjoyed and I enjoyed it so much more.
3 values that your parents inculcated in you and that you incorporate in your life.
I would say the first thing that my mom always taught me was to believe in karma, believe in my action, and I believe in it very strongly. The second thing I would say is she and my dad were very particular that we be very careful on what we speak. My mom always said that words once spoken cannot be taken back, and so always think before you talk. And the third thing I would say is value for money. They always taught that one needs to be prudent on your desires and expenditures.
When did you shift to Bangalore and why?
We shifted to Bangalore in the year 1996, and the main reason for us to shift to Bangalore was to have better control in the product that we deliver to the market. We needed to be sure on what we are supplying to the consumer, and so making our own industry and making our own brand followed with this passion.
Okay. One thing you like most about Bangalore?
Bangalore, I would say 24 years here in Bangalore has seen a huge change from what we saw when we came so many years back and today. And what I really love about Bangalore is the open space, the greenery, the big houses, the feel of a luxury living. Bangalore gives you that.
What gave you the courage to leave everything behind and move on to a new life?
Well, after marriage, a spouse or a couple start living each other's dreams. And I would say I was also one of those spouses who loved to live each other's dreams. And this was a dream that my husband had to make his own company and to grow, to give back to the society. And that's, I think, was the reason to have the courage to move our base location and take this step towards having a new life in a new city.
Okay, moving on to your education, how did you get into dentistry?
In those days, the options were either engineering or medicine. To me, dentistry was because I missed a medical seat by probably the same mark that the medical admissions closed, and by default it was dentistry.
So if not dentistry, what would you be doing?
Well, not very passionate, but yes, I did have an inclination to move towards architecture, maybe because I was very fond of drawings and creativity. If I had my way, or if I was so determined about it, it would have been architecture.
Which college are you from?
I'm from GDC Mumbai.
Were you studious or more into extracurricular activities?
Well, I won't label myself as studious, but I did do decent studies, and extracurricular activities have been a part of my life from school days. I've always been a dancer, been a stage person. So that has always been a part of me till the end of my education.
We hear that you met Dr. Vijay in college. Tell us when and how.
Yes, that was the place where we met. When and how? Okay, so I knew him from the time I joined college because we traveled together in the same local train from Chembur to VT. And of course, he's always said that I watched him from the corner of my eye and I felt it the other way around. But actually we spoke in my second year of dentistry, and of course, this is how we met.
Most memorable moment of your college life with Sir?
Well, I think we have a lot of memorable moments of college, but I would say the time when it was a Ganesh festival in college, and I and my friend of mine and me were doing a puja dance, the opening dance for Ganesh Chaturthi. And I actually fell off the stage dancing, and Dr. Vijay was the guy who whistled the loudest in the crowd. And that night we had a college evening festival together. And I think that's when he actually proposed to me, and I mean that's memorable time.
What made you say yes to him?
He was a very handsome young guy and very popular in college. There were many reasons for me to say yes to him, but yes, I mean he is still very handsome.
Having a love marriage in that day and age was not as common as it is today. How did you introduce him to your parents and manage to convince them?
Well, that was a very big challenging task, but one thing that I always wanted to maintain was to inform my parents before I actually commit to somebody. And so in one of those discussions post-college which I had with my mom, I did make a mention of his name, and very subtly she just put across to me that I was a little too young, and it's a good thing to be friends and to observe. And well, the commitment was already made, and so I had to take my next step of making my family know about it. So one fine day we decided that my dad needed a dental treatment and Dr. Vijay was doing his internship. And so we decided to get him to college and introduce silently to Dr. Vijay. And that's how I got my dad to college and left him with Dr. Vijay without actually introducing the doctor, and disappeared from the scene. And end of the treatment, my dad just casually asked him his name, and he knew he's the guy I was referring to.
What would you advise young girls who are in love or want to have a love marriage in today's day and age?
What I see in today's day and age is that parents and the young girls or the young generation share a very, very warm bond. And I would say that people of our generation have initiated this kind of a relationship with the children. There is no fear, which is a very good part, because parents are your best friend. And if there is any sense of fear, I think one should overcome that and reach out to your parents, because nobody can advise you better than your own parents.
Since you have a spouse with the same qualification, how has your experience been? One positive and one slightly less positive point.
I would say couple with same qualification have the positive point of having more things to discuss, because communication is a very big tool between any two individuals. So they have a lot more things to talk about when you have the same qualification. Negative in our case, of course, it did not imply, because we moved on to a different profession, but it may surface as a competitive behavior between two in case they are both into the same industry as of their qualification.
So tell us about Chesa. Did it start immediately after your college life?
So Chesa was incorporated in 1992. That was 2 years after our wedding, as a proprietorship company. And then in 1996, it was converted into a limited company. So 6 years after we got married.
So did you enjoy practicing, or did you want to get into business from starting?
No, we practiced for almost 3 years and we enjoyed practice a lot. It so happened that Dr. Vijay thought of initiating a business, and he cracked a good deal amongst his colleagues in the college. And I think that was the time where we both felt that yes, business also is a good opportunity.
What was your favorite treatment to practice?
I enjoyed the subject of prosthodontics, and that was primarily because of my teacher, Dr. Ram. She was very appreciative of my work, and I think till date I really love that subject.
What was your role in the company at the time of inception?
At the time of inception, we were 4 of us. In fact, we were an army of 4. And right from speaking to doctors, collecting their orders, making delivery challan, actually typing out the delivery challans in a typewriter. I don't know, Sakshi, if you know what a typewriter is, but right from there to packing the material and to, filling bank slips, following up for collection, everything was done end to end by us, all of us together.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry to disturb you. Can you please come up the floor now before?
So Sakshi, are you okay that we continue the rest of the questions at the floor? Come, let me show you the factory around.
Sure, let's go. You shifted from Bombay to Bangalore. How did you start your business in a city where you didn't even speak the local language?
Well, we started as a dental trade company and then moved on to the manufacturing. And I think during our way we met nice people in Bangalore and we taught them our concept, and in turn we learned the local language from them.
Tell us about your first office in Bangalore.
The first office was at Indiranagar. It was 1,000 square feet premise that we had leased out, and it was on the first floor of a very popular store called Hema Stores.
Did you have children by then?
Yes, we moved to Bangalore with a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-month-old son.
Tell us little about your children.
My daughter needs no introduction, especially on Chesa Academy. Dr. Shilika, she's a dentist from RV Dental College, and immediately after her college she chose to join the business, and we are very proud and lucky to have her. During her tenure with the company, she has also completed her management course from IIM Bangalore, and she is one strong pillar that the company has today. My son is currently in USA, in Boston. He has completed his engineering from Northeastern University, and currently he is pursuing his career in data analytics and finance management. We are very proud of both our kids, and we believe that they would be very strong future pillars of the organization.
What enabled you to be able to manage home and work side by side?
Home and work side by side is one of the most challenging activity for any woman, especially an entrepreneur. The one key thing that I feel is required is a senior support or a support in the family of somebody who is elder to you. And this was what I got from my mother-in-law. She was with us, and she was always a rock solid pillar with us, taking care of everything that was required to make sure that kids are not left alone or the home front does not suffer. And till date, she is with us. A big thank you to her.
One advice to working women for today in this context?
I would say each woman has the potential to multitask, and no woman should underestimate that potential in her. She should not suppress herself or feel that she is not capable of doing multiple things in the best way. So she should go all out with her ambition and passion in life.
When did you get into manufacturing of dental chairs, and how did it start?
We started manufacturing in the year 1999 from Pina in Bangalore. The reason that we started was we were representing another company as dental traders for chair manufacturing, and we always fell short of being able to give quality standards or to be able to provide the right service for the goods that we were providing. And that's when we thought and we wanted to be able to make sure that whatever we supply to a customer, we are able to have full control on quality and the after sales support. And that's how this whole concept of getting into our own chair manufacturing started.
As a women entrepreneur in the late 90s, what were the challenges you had to overcome?
In the 90s, I think I was one of the few women, especially in the dental industry. And while I was out there talking to customers, attending all dental conferences, we did not see many other women there. There were certain wrong mental perceptions, but I think that's all in the past.
How has entrepreneurship changed for a woman over the last 25 years?
Well, I must say that a woman has always been an entrepreneur, because running a home is nothing less than running a business. And a woman always had it within her to organize, to delegate, and to budget, which are three very critical aspects of running any kind of a business. Yes, today the same woman is out in the industry in various positions of businesses, and that's because of the empowerment that they have seen from the society.
From a team of 4 to almost 300 today, how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
Well, when we were just a team of 3, I think end-to-end was something what we were doing, right from typing to making delivery challans. But with years, over the years, what I have really learned is to delegate, to create a second line, to create a team who can execute and who can sometimes even do much better than what you can, because they bring in a lot of value addition with their new and the latest concepts of working.
Top 3 tips to be an effective leader in 2021.
I would say the first thing is awareness. Times are changing very fast, and if a leader is not aware of the change, he cannot be a true leader to this team. The second, I would say, is compassion. Today, people go through a lot of challenges in their personal front, at work. So it's very important for a leader to have the compassion. And the third thing I would say would be one should, as a leader, one should be ready for change. COVID has really taught us that there is so much to learn, and one should be open to adapt to new changes, new ways of working. So these, I think, would be my 3 choices of today.
Men versus women in business, is the struggle the same?
That's a tough question. There are similar challenges for a man and a woman. While the intensity of the challenges may be different, but they both have their sets of challenges that they have to face. So I would say that with changes in time, women have learned to cope up with many aspects which were predominantly male dominated, and today the challenges faced by both seem to be at par.
What would you say are the best ways to cope with the stress or challenges that come with running a business?
A very important part of life is a work-personal life balance, and this is a key to really manage your stress, because if you give time to your personal life, you can indulge into various things like your hobbies, your social life, your friends, and there cannot be a better stress buster than these things.
Talking about hobbies, what are your favorite hobbies?
Well, I think I'm still developing more hobbies to myself. I started very early in life with being a Bharatnatyam dancer, and I was very fond of things like handicraft and painting, and these were my hobbies while growing up. Currently, I am learning classical music, something which I always wanted to, and I'm also very passionate about yoga.
It's been a long day for you, ma'am. What is a typical day in the life of Dr. Anju like?
Well, my day starts little before 7 because 7 to 8 I do a music class which I've just recently begun. 8 to 8:15 is rush into the kitchen, check out and give instructions to the cook. Then 8:15 to 9:15 is my yoga, which we do online, and then we rush over to the office. And office, how it begins, how it ends is, I think it's almost, it just goes by and we don't even realize that the day has come to an end. It's about 8:30 that we go back home, finish our dinner, we have a mandatory walk in the evening that we go to together, and then it's movie time. We don't sleep without having our 1 hour of sitting on the couch and watching an entertainment. Hi guys, how are things going on? How's the website coming up?
Yes.
All good?
Yes.
That's nice to hear.
Tell us about your current social media obsession.
Insta for sure. Been spending a lot of time on learning how to browse on Insta, fashion, so much more information.
How important is social media for a brand like Chesa today?
Social media is mandatory. It's no more important. And like for any other company in the world, the same applies for Chesa.
What does marketing mean for Chesa?
I would say what marketing means for me. I would say that this is a huge platform to connect with your customers, to know their feedback, to know their grievances, and also to be able to share information, to reach to the nook and corner of your business areas.
Till date, what has been the most successful marketing strategy used by Chesa?
Again, I think through social media, 2 things that have really caught my attention is, one is the customer feedback, the kind of feedbacks that we've got of satisfied and happy customers. And the other was, so we have shared through social media the support link, that support@chesadentalcare.com was a method of people to be able to reach out to us for sharing their grievances or sharing their complaints. And that made sure that they were not feeling lost once they have dealt with the company.
Chesa runs over 17 diagnostic centers under the brand name VScan. Why did Chesa start this project?
VScan started about 4 years back with one center, and it's been just 1.5 years that we've come up with the other centers. The purpose of starting the VScan project was to extend
to providing services to the dental surgeon, we realized that to provide quality practice, there is a lot more that a dentist needs, and that's when the concept of V-Scan originated. One sec, Sakshi. All sorted for tomorrow?
All good. Thank you.
Should we continue downstairs, Sakshi?
Sure. Chesa Academy is something that came up during COVID. Your thoughts on that?
Academy is a platform of education, and education was something Chesa always wanted to introduce. And no matter how many platforms, I think imparting education or sharing information is always a very, very noble idea. And I am really proud that this platform was created during COVID time, because we had a lot of time to think, to innovate, and it's a brilliant way forward.
What is the current market scenario? Are things going back to normal?
6 months in COVID was really bad for the entire profession, but with the information of how to protect yourself with the COVID preventive armamentariums, and with the vaccine especially coming up, I think things are really speeding up and getting back to normal. We've seen a good growth in the last 2 months of the dental business, and I'm sure this is here to stay now.
Where do you see Chesa in the next 10 years?
So Chesa has been into trading, manufacturing, importing, and then services, and then education. Chesa still has many more thoughts and ideas, and with the next generation coming in with so much information and so much ambition to grow the organization, I think there are many more new folds that will open up for Chesa. Of course, we do see ourselves to be prominent players in the international market, but there are many more things that we wish to do and give back to the Society of Dentistry.
It's very rare to see a company where the top management directly interacts with customers, but till date most dentists know Dr. Anju or even connected with you personally. What makes you an exception?
Dr. Anju, yes, is known by, I think, many dentists in India, and it's a very good feel. It's a very good confidence that I developed, that my customers know me, and I believe it's the same confidence with the customers. We've had a very humble beginning where we interacted with customers directly, and I still feel that there cannot be a better way to know what is the demand of the market or what is the satisfaction level of your customer if you do not interact with them. And I wish to maintain this channel open for as long as I'm in the company and working.
The last 3 decades have seen you going from being a cute, fun-loving girl to being a boss lady that you are today. What has been the constant?
The constant is fun-loving. I still love to have fun. I still enjoy moments, small happinesses, and I'm sure whenever there is an activity in our own company, I am the naughtiest of the lot, and my staff and my people around me can vouch for that.
From working in dental clinics to creating them, one thing that fueled you along your journey?
So dentistry is all about equipment and machinery, and unfortunately there is very little knowledge that is imparted during our academic career on how to handle the equipments. One thing that we always felt is that needs to be given back is equipment to be working in good condition, because that is the bread and butter of a dental surgeon. And this wish of having a well-serviced equipment or a running equipment with least glitches or minimum glitches is actually what kept us fueled from actually practicing to making a dental equipment.
What is success to Dr. Anju?
Success to me is happiness. Happiness could be in any form. It could be seeing happy employees, it is to see happy customers, it is to see happy family. That to me is true success.
Tell us about some women in your life and how they helped shape your personality.
I think I have been really blessed
to see one of the most dynamic women in my family in and around me. To begin with my mom, she was such a loving personality and such a multitasker, and I have learned that from her. My mother-in-law, who stands rock solid even at the age of 88, shows me that age is just a number. There is nothing that she cannot do. My sister, she's such an achiever in her life, and at the same time, such a beautiful homemaker. She teaches me that nothing can stop you if you want to achieve it. Both my sister-in-laws are such multitaskers and brilliant in their own field that it amazes me that how much capacity can a person hold to grow and bloom in one's life. And my daughter, she's the next gen, and I'm amazed to see the diversity that she has shown within herself, from being a dentist to becoming an entrepreneur to bringing out the best in every walk of life. I think I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have these people around me.
Friendship is something that often gets lost in the routine of life. How do you manage to stay connected to your friends?
Friends are a very important part of everybody's life, and there is no denial about this. Yes, there were times when we were struggling in business that our entire focus was work and family. But now we've gone back to friendship. I've gone back to having fun with friends thanks to WhatsApp and social media, where we've gone back to connecting with our school friends, college friends. And I feel there cannot be life without friends. I have a wonderful circle of friends right at the place I live, and I think I have an amazing time with them. One of the best time that I spend.
You mentioned that you and your mom have a very strong bond. How did that influence your relationship with your daughter?
My mom and me, we were like best of friends. I was very comfortable speaking out to her whatever I wish. And I believe that's what I have maintained with my daughter. To me, she's my best friend, and I think I'm her best friend too. And we both know that we can reach out to each other for any kind of discussion or any kind of heart-to-heart talk that we need to do.
We hear that you love to give back to the society. How important is it? Tell us a little about your social activities.
I'm blessed to meet people around me who have introduced or who have brought in the realization of giving back to society in whatever small way that one can do. I'm involved with certain organizations who help in the upliftment of women by some small contributions, such that they are able to make their livelihood and support their family. And I wish to have a bigger share of my time to give back to the society as and when time passes by. So this is something very close to my heart. I don't feel I do enough today because of my commitments of life. But yes, I am working towards really spending more time towards giving back.
Any advice to all young women who are struggling to manage their family and career simultaneously?
So I would say a woman should recognize her inner power, because she inherits an ability to multitask. Family, work, social life, everything can be managed if she has the determination to do it. She should not underestimate her potential and capacity. She has the patience to hear. She has the love to give. And these two qualities in a woman allows her to go beyond what seems impossible for others to do. So go all out. I think each of you can do it.
What makes you the most happy in life? How important it is to be happy consciously?
I think what makes me happy is when I take up a task and I complete it to my satisfaction. Whatever you may do, small or big, if you have done it to the best, it makes you happy, and that's what makes me happy. Spending time with my family, spending time, valuable time with my team also makes me extremely happy. To be happy consciously, yes, because happiness gives you the strength to move forward. So guys, I think one should make a very conscious effort to bring in a happy moment in your life. It's energy booster for you, for sure.
Do you think you will ever retire?
Retire is, till the time I can work, I would definitely like to be available for all forms of suggestions, advice. But yes, I may spend lesser hours at work and more hours with family and towards my hobbies. But it's an impossible task to be moved away from this baby of ours, Chessa. Yes.
Okay, but if in future you decide to get retirement, what will retirement look like for Dr. Anju?
Well, I have a big bucket list of travel destination and I would love to travel all over the world.
What was your biggest takeaway from last 1 year?
COVID time actually gave us time to think, to connect, to bond. My biggest take from this is there is no rush, there is no hurry to run. It's more important to value all relationships equally and to go at the required pace. There is a lot of time. It's more important to do things perfectly than to do many things. That's my take from COVID times.
Any message to all the women in dentistry?
Dentistry feels like it's made for women, and it's such a beautiful profession because you can do the best in your professional life and your personal life. And women are born creators. They're so creative in nature, and dentistry is all about creating beautiful smiles and beautiful things. So I think it's one of the most noble profession for the women.
Where do you see dentistry in next 10 years?
The last 5 years has seen a huge growth in the dental industry in terms of development of new science, development of better diagnostic tools. At this pace, I think we cannot even imagine what more dentistry can introduce us to. We have already seen that things like dentures and dentures are obsolete and replacements have moved over to implant dentistry. Aesthetic smile design and beautification of dental treatment is reaching levels which are beyond imagination. So there is a lot to be seen and lots coming its way with lasers, with implant dentistry, with diagnostic tools. There will be a huge growth in the dental industry for sure.
Okay, we have reached to the last 2 questions of our interview. A short message for our viewers.
I hope you've enjoyed this 77 questions and stay safe. We all are getting vaccinated, but COVID is still around us. Most important is to not forget the precautions, the sterilization methods and the asepsis and antiseptic things that we need to follow in the dental clinics. Please stay safe.
How did you like our 77 question format?
It's a brilliant idea and very innovative. It's really connecting people at personal level, beyond work, beyond business, and I really enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you so much, Sakshi.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. We have learned a lot and we wish to see more of you on our platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.